Greetings and salutations, everyone! My name is Fire Mage, and welcome back to Rimworld Ascension, Take 2, Episode 42. If you enjoy this episode, please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, mod list is down in the description. And with that, let's get on to the episode. Alright, well, picking up where we left off last time, what are my plans for today? Well, obviously, we will be continuing our very slow progress on working on the military uniforms and the cleanup of the gigantic raid that happened. But in terms of new projects, well, first of all, I'm gonna start laying out the next vehicle. And after doing some reading through what they're all capable of, we will be making a Scytheman next, which from my understanding is a rocket artillery truck, which I think would be very useful if we ever get another massive low armor raid like the one from last episode. And of course, in line with building a new vehicle, we also need to repair the old one, if possible. I think it should be, but I'm not entirely sure how it works, so we're going to have to figure that out. But then, in terms of the biggest project that we will be getting done today, a rather large base expansion. Because we are rapidly running out of space with our current wall, and so we need to make a new one. And I think our new one will be taking this section up here. At least, as much of it as we reasonably can. Now, I'm not going to lay out the blueprints for the wall yet, but I will be laying out a basic plan for it. Now, as you can see, we can't actually build a wall over here, which is unfortunate because that is quite a bit of space I would like to have, but unfortunately I am being denied. So we'll just have to go around this lake, like so, in order to claim a more sizable chunk. And then we'll just run a wall all the way there along the border. Nothing fancy, but that will be the next base expansion, which also will give us a very conveniently placed steam geyser. And speaking of the wall construction, the final thing I want to get is a concrete mixer, so that we can start making some concrete. And of course, all of that needs to go on the list. There we go. And of course, we will also begin working on converting and then eventually recruiting Mr. Senga. Because Mr. Senga is a really good cook. And we need that. We also will be removing this limestone door and replacing it with limestone wall. Because quite frankly, this was not very useful. It was useful in the past, but now it's just kind of in the way and actively detrimental as well, seeing as the enemy was able to use it to do, well, a lot of damage. They completely bypassed our trench network, so we'll be reinforcing that, and instead we'll simply just have to go the long way around if we want to do anything. We'll also be continuing work on the bridge down here, of course, seeing as that needs to get built if we want to bring our vehicles over. But that's small enough I won't bother putting it on the list. Oh good, it looks like Silveranus has actually begun repairing the mule. And, more importantly, it's actually working, which means I don't have to make any replacements. Perfect. That's what I like to see. And the ENIAC is researched. Very nice. Now, we won't be able to do anything with that for a while. Those are very expensive. So, in the meantime... Oh, I appear to have been slightly misled. So, I was under the impression that we actually needed to build an ENIAC in order to, you know, research microelectronics. But looking a little closer at the tab over here, this requires bench facilities ENIAC, which means we would have to build one. But Microelectronics doesn't have that requirement, which means the next technology we will be researching is going to be microelectronics. One step closer to getting factories. And Senga has been successfully converted to our ideology. Very good indeed. And now we can work on recruiting. And it looks like we also can now reform the unified commune. Did not realize converting prisoners would give us that ability, but that's good to know. Let's go ahead and get to reforming. First of all, let's take a look at what memes we could get. See if any of them fit particularly well. And looking through the memes, I have to say none of them feel particularly fitting. However, one thing I do think that we do need to change is our structure from animist, since we are no longer tribal. I feel like we can go ahead and we'll switch it to ideological. Why not? And switching to ideological gives us the totemic building style, which will work just fine. We'll go ahead and we will set slavery to disapproved, drug use back to medical or social only. Alright, so the roles. It is time for us to fix these. And by fix them, I mean we are going to be removing the required outfits because they are annoying and unnecessary. We will also be changing around our rituals a bit. Mainly, we will be adding some rituals so that we can do some more stuff. Mostly, we'll be switching these around to random recruits because that is what we need the most right now. There we go. That'll work just fine. And I think it's time we also change the name and some of these things because they are a little outdated. And there we go. The updated name of our ideology is now the Commune of Niebecker, our faction. The adjective changed to Niebecker, member Niebeckerian. And that is that. And now we actually have some more roles we can assign. So the first thing we're going to do here is we will be making Beller Rose into the Bountiful Operator, which is a merchant, because I believe Beller Rose is the one with the highest social in the colony, even higher than Blackjack's. At least it is now, thanks to all the practice Beller Rose has been doing. So let's go ahead and get that done. And successful role change. And that means we can also now just summon a trade caravan whenever we want. But we are not done just yet. We will be making Blackjack, since Blackjack has the second highest social in the colony. Blackjack shall be made into the leader of the colony. And as for the moral specialist, I don't know yet. We'll figure that out in just a moment. And now Blackjack is the moral chief. And that only leaves us with the animal specialist and the solidarity thinker, which I believe is our moral guide. Yep. Alright, so who do we want to be our moral guide? You know what? Let's make Vera our moral guide. I feel like that's a fitting role. Make the pacifist and researcher of the colony the moral guide. Seems quite fitting, I think. And there we go. All the important roles have now been assigned. And hopefully that'll help keep our people just a little bit happier. Interesting. So we just got an offer to do a quest for the Fallen Empire. And it's actually one we might be able to do. So this quest is to defeat an outlaw lair, and it should only be guarded by 5 Neanderthals. That is pretty beatable. More importantly, though, they're offering Mechanoid components. So I think we're going to go ahead and accept that quest, and we get 25 days to do it, which is more than enough to fix the truck and use that to go do the raid. Of course, that's going to still take a minute, because despite the fact that this truck has been getting repaired every single day, it is still nowhere near done. More importantly, the chem tank is not repaired, so I can't refuel it. So, just going to have to continue waiting on that. It's almost repaired, just a little longer, hopefully. And Mr. Bend has died due to the chemical dependency. Well, it's about time. It is unfortunate that we could not save them, but I never was really intending to anyway. So, that is one of our prison cells freed up, though. So, that isn't too terribly bad. And it looks like Mr. Senga is getting the resistance broken down quite rapidly. And microelectronics is researched. Unfortunately, before we can access all the fun stuff, we do in fact need to build a high-tech research bench, but we will be saving that for later, once all of our current projects are done. And we will instead start up batteries, because although we don't really plan to use them, better to have them researched so we can use them if we need them. Also, it looks like Silveranus has in fact finished the bridge, which means that as soon as the truck is done, we will be able to drive it across, and the parts for the Scythemen are being built as well. Very nice and convenient. And it looks like the mule is almost repaired enough to drive back. And the concrete mixer is built. Lovely. And that means we are going to begin converting all of the stone chunks into concrete. And we're going to actually stop making blocks themselves as well. Very nice indeed. And that will allow us to make normal concrete and then eventually reinforced concrete, if we feel the need to. Which we might. We don't have a lot of steel, but reinforced concrete is more durable, so might be worth the investment, perhaps. And speaking of future stuff to do, batteries are now done. I think next up, let's do fire foam. Most of our base is fireproof, but it wouldn't hurt to have some additional fireproofing around. And plus, that looked like it would give us access to a hydrant, which I'm going to assume is a reusable fire foam popper. So we'll have to figure that out once that gets researched. And also, work on the Scytheman over here is going quite well. We are already working on the suspension for it, and once that's done, all we'll need is the wheels. Alright, well, seeing as the truck is almost repaired, and we have a bunch of stuff that needs to be sold, I'm gonna go ahead and try out this Summon Trade Caravan thing. Let's see. It will arrive in approximately 1 day. Very interesting. Can we see it on the map? We cannot. Shame. But that means we should be getting a trade caravan here directly, which will be wonderful, because we need to do a trading mission, because our people are getting kind of depressed by our lack of trade. Oh, and there is apparently a royal tribute collector. I hope that's not the people I just summoned. If so, that would be a complete waste. Can't exactly sell them a whole lot. There we go. The mule has been refueled. Started, and let's see if it can cross our glorious bridge. It should, I believe. But we'll have to wait and find out once it gets over here. Alright, moment of truth. Can it cross the bridge? The answer? No. Why is the question now. Is it not wide enough? That is my best assumption. Perhaps we need to make it a little wider in certain locations. We'll try that. I believe that should make it wide enough. Maybe. It might just be that the bridge can't support the truck, but I don't see why it wouldn't be able to. So we'll just have to figure that out. But with that mild disappointment of the bridge, I think I'm gonna leave this episode off here. We have made some good progress. We got the truck repaired, the wall patched, the bridge is technically done, just not big enough. And we are working on our second vehicle, the Scytheman Rocket Artillery. And on top of all of that, we have gotten our plan for the next large base expansion to the north, which will be glorious and give us a lot more space to work with. And hopefully next episode we will be doing that quest. I'd like to get the truck done so that we can use it for said quest. So hopefully we'll get that done within the next 25 in-game days. We also got the ideology reformed. Didn't get any new memes, but we are now a new ideology in name and in spirit, which is what is important. With all that said and done, though, I will see you all in the next episode.